everyone. I'm Wes Levitt, Head of Strategy at Theta Labs, and today I'm going to talk about improving data analysis using OriginTrail's EdgeNode and DRAG and Theta EdgeCloud. I actually had hoped to attend in person. I was there last year in Ljubljana for DKGcon. It was a great conference, but unfortunately came down with something this time. So recorded a little video to show our collaboration that we worked on. So I think the majority of the group probably is familiar with DKG, but I'll give some background on EdgeCloud and then talk about why we collaborated. So Theta EdgeCloud is a decentralized compute and other services platform, which among other things empowers AI teams with unrivaled GPU price to performance. So what does that mean in practice? It's a hybrid computing platform that combines 30,000 global edge nodes on the Theta network, along with dozens of other GPU providers, including all the major cloud providers like Google Cloud and AWS. And what that allows us to do is offer permissionless GPU at very competitive prices on demand, often frequently beating the on-demand prices of the major providers. So just for an indication, you can see H100 sometimes as low as $269 an hour, A100s as low as $219 an hour. And a big selling point also is that it's very, as I said, it's permissionless. You don't have to sign contracts like with big providers, and you can use the major models like Llama, Stable Diffusion, etc., or use your own custom AI models and upload those to use it. A few universities that have already come on as customers in Korea, KAIST, the leading engineering school in Korea, is using it for tuning their Stable Diffusion model, which is a virtual try-on used for consumer applications. And also Yonsei University, which is using it with their team of PhD students to extract knowledge assets and then summarize them using LLMs. We have about 8 or 9 academic customers signed on now, a few unannounced, including the first US customer, which is announced soon. So we're getting a lot of progress in academia adopting the technology. But there is, I think, a gap that the DKG can help fill in these collaborations. There are some RAG components that are used in EdgeNode now, or EdgeCloud now, but a lot of these universities aren't as able to tap into these because they don't have access to the large knowledge graphs that, say, an enterprise customer would. So it's very interesting to us for what we're building at Theta to collaborate with the DKG because two things, obviously, verifiable data authenticity, the well-known hallucination problem that OriginTrail solved for a lot of projects, but also because the permissionless DKG is much more interesting to us than centralized RAG because we think it means the possibility for a much more robust knowledge graph. The analogy I like to use is Wikipedia was always going to beat, say, Britannica in the long run because it's crowdsourcing information, it's collaborative. We think that's especially the case with all these university customers for EdgeCloud because that's in their DNA that they collaborate with researchers from around the world and want to build sort of the body of knowledge in a collaborative way. They're not trying to build siloed knowledge graphs the way, say, a big tech company would. So we think it makes a very interesting addition and a great way for the DKG and EdgeCloud to collaborate here. And what Theta can bring to the table is that our infrastructure makes it very easy to swap into any AI model into a DKG-powered app. So in our proof of concept, which we'll show today in a demo video in a little bit, we did that into the DKG AI assistant. So our team, Simon will walk through a demo of this in a little bit, use the front end for DKG EdgeNode and the AI assistant, added EdgeCloud AI to the back end so you can swap in any LLM you want, and then use that to answer the questions that you put to the AI assistant. After the demo video, we're excited to build out this into a more full-fledged product, but as far as other next steps, what's really interesting along these lines of adding DRAG to sort of the stack for EdgeCloud is EdgeCloud recently announced that it's offering agentic AI services, including a RAG integrated chatbot for the NHL's Vegas Golden Knights. So that's going live in a little bit later this year. And we think there's a big opportunity to transition from centralized RAG to the DKG DRAG at the protocol level. So what that could look like is anyone using EdgeCloud just has an integrated option that if you want to start generating knowledge assets and start posting to the DKG, that happens automatically or when you select to, but it's just offered to every EdgeCloud customer right out of the box. That could be a very interesting way to take this, and I think makes both sides a much more powerful product. Lastly, before we get started on the demo, if you are looking to use EdgeCloud and want credits for your startup or project, you can snap a shot at the Google form right there and submit that. And we're happy to take a look and maybe can provide some free credits for that. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for your time. And now we'll kick it over to Simon from our team, who will walk through the demo video of our proof of concept here. Thank you.
Welcome to the Theta EdgeCloud example and how you integrate AI model run on the Theta EdgeCloud into your Edge node from OriginTrail. And in this example, we will use it for the AI assistant in the OriginTrail Edge node interface. So after you have created an account on the EdgeCloud and added some balances, you can head to the AI services and here select whichever model you want to use. Obviously, we need to use an LLM. And yeah, we'll go with the Lambda 3 8P. And here we need to add the Hugging Face hub token. And then we can deploy the model. This model will take a minute or two to completely deploy. In the future, we will also have the option for an API. So similar to OpenAI, you just pay for the tokens that you use when communicating with it, instead of here where you have to deploy the whole model and pay for the time basically that model is up and running. So after it's deployed, we can follow this link, and that will basically head us over to a page where we can see how to integrate it. We have some examples, JavaScript, Python. We will need for the backend JavaScript. And here the most important part is the OpenAI API base, which we will copy and then use in the Edge node drag folder to power the AI assistant. Now in the Edge node backend, so after we have set up everything from the OriginTrail core node to all the Edge node services, here this is the Edge node DRAG folder, and we will need to add here the Edge node URL we just copied to access our AI model. Then we head over to the provider factory, and here we just create a new case for the EdgeCloud and yeah, return a new EdgeCloud provider. To return that EdgeCloud provider, I created a new file, the EdgeCloud provider file, and it's basically the same as for the OpenAI provider. We just pass in the EdgeCloud API base, which we earlier passed into the end file, and then set up how the chat would work. But as it uses the OpenAI interface library, that's pretty simple. And then we need to change in the user manager service, just that we use now the EdgeCloud provider and pass in the API key and the model. So finally, we can test now everything in our Edge node front end, powered by the Theta EdgeCloud. We have uploaded our knowledge assets. Basically, they are Theta docs, and we can now ask questions about them. And yeah, let's try this out for 2 questions. The first one, what is the Theta network? And then after a few seconds, this should return us with information. what it does is basically request the backend, get the knowledge assets that correspond with the question, and then give that knowledge to the AI, and that based on that knowledge answers our question. Now we have the answer to that. It's pretty long, but it basically tells us everything that we need to know about the Theta blockchain. And yeah, just to showcase one more question, how do I add the Theta network to the MetaMask wallet? And this will then return us the exact information, including the knowledge assets, basically where it got that information from. And yeah, everything we need from the RPC URL, the chain ID, the blockchain explorer link, and that's how you use the Theta EdgeCloud and integrate it into the edge node from OriginTrail.